So I've been playing this game. It's called Beyond No Reason. It's free, open source. I'll put a link in the description if you're curious about the game. I highly encourage it, by the way. It's a real-time strategy game. It's inspired from Total Annihilation and Supreme Commander. I mean, they're all part of kind of like the same family. And yeah, I've been just having a lot of fun with this game. I just think it's a cute game. I think it's slept on, especially by a lot of strategy players. If you come from Blizzard RTS games, I really think you'd find this game pretty refreshing, strategy wise. I think you'd find it really refreshing. So we're on this map here. It's called Faster Than Light. It's a very uncommon map. People don't usually 1v1 in this one. The base layout is very much like StarCraft, where you have like a ramp, your natural expansion, and all that other crap. It's very StarCraft-like. But a lot of maps aren't like this. But the beautiful part about this game is that really any kind of map works. You can have a good game on any map. In Blizzard games, that is not true. And the reason why that's not true is because there's a lot of asymmetry. Because Blizzard games have, races. StarCraft, Terran, Protoss, Zerg. In this game, not in this game, in Warcraft there's four. I'm not going to name them all, you already know. And I think because the players are mostly symmetrical, really any map can work and be interesting. I'll briefly go over some very basic things about the game, just so you're up to speed. So there's two. Well, first of all, the objective of the game is to kill the commander. So this is me. I'm Math Wizard. I'm blue. This is my commander. But if he dies, I lose. This is my opponent's commander. If he dies, I win. There's two resources in this game. There's metal. Metal is scattered throughout the map. You have to build these metal extractors on top of the metal spots in order to get the income. So right now I'm getting 2 metal per second, and this would give me 2.1 extra metal per second. So this is like the resource you fight over for map control. There's also energy. Energy you can build wherever. You build buildings that generate energy. For example, this solar collector here produces 20 energy a second. So you balance these two resources and you go nuts. As you can see, when you hover over things, you can see the cost. For example, to build this bot lab, I need 620 metal and 1300 energy. As you can see, in this game, I sped it up a bit. Let me just put it back to one time speed. In this game, as opposed to Blizzard Star RTSs, you don't have to pay upfront for everything you build. When you build things, you put money into it until it finishes. So there's no upfront cost. You just put it down, and you just have to fucking throw shit into it until it builds. As you can see at the top here, when I was building that, I was being drained 16 metal a second. As you can see from here, because this is a very expensive building. Let me just show you the cost real quick. 720 metal and 1800 energy. I'm being drained 30 metal per second to build this, and 82 energy per second to build it. Now, the glorious thing about this feature, as opposed to Blizzard Star RTSs where you pay everything up front, is that you can actually queue up a bunch of things and just have it gradually take from your bank, which means you don't have to always go back to your base and build like supply depots and have to queue up new units in the barracks. You can just always just have it on and just drain from your reserve. So the macro in this game is quite simplified without losing complexity and like interest. Like you'll see. My opponent here actually did something very interesting. He is building his vehicle plant right down here across the bridge, giving him easy access to this, and he also has pretty easy access to this. It's a very interesting move. We'll see how it plays out. Right now, I'll look from my perspective. One moment, sorry. I'm currently sending these two scout bikes, really shitty, weak units, to just see what the fuck he's doing. And I'll see very shortly that he built the thingy here. Another aspect I'll tell you about in this game is something called build power. So you know how when you build things, you gradually put money into it until it finishes? Well, build power determines how much resources you can put into something per second. For example, my commander here, he has 300 build power. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of text here, but basically where my cursor is, he has 300 build power. This construction bot has 90. So there's really three resources in this game. There's metal, energy, and build power. Build power determines how fast you can spend. So once your income goes up, you need the ability to spend more, and thus you can consider it a resource. Build any solar collectors here to get energy. And we'll speed it up a bit because all the players are just, building up and whatnot. Because it's a StarCraft themed map, really one turret can safely repel any very early game harass. So because I opted to spawn here, this here was very free to take. My opponent here is doing a contain, but I'll be building a couple of tanks. Oh, and another nifty thing in here. Look at this button, repeat on, repeat unit command Q, which means that I have this light tank being built, and once it's finished building, it'll just start again. And that is really the beauty of this RTS and why I think everyone should at least try it, even if you don't like RTSs, because there's so much tedious macro that gets automated. You play this game for a little bit, you can easily automate all of your macro. You can shift queue solar collectors and just have one of these guys just slowly build solar collectors, and you'll gradually get more energy income. You can have your training facilities just build units. And because there's no upfront cost, it's just draining your income, and you'll just be getting it very gradually. And that's why this is just such a good RTS, because you don't have to focus on this tedium. You can just, focus on okay, what decisions am I going to make? Like right now I break this contain. It wasn't really much of a contain, it was just whatever. So now I can send my guy to expand that way. So I'm sending a force here, which is going to intercept these construction vehicles, which are expanding. As you can see, they had some buildings queued. Luckily, I am able to intercept and prevent that expansion. Actually, I fuck up bad, and I didn't actually get it. It had 12 health. I managed to get it, but I lost all of my tanks, which is a big problem. So there is a very implicit comeback feature in this game. So when units die, they leave wreckage, and you can harvest the wreckage for metal. For example, this wreckage here gives 70 metal. This wreckage here gives 87. So these two units, you're going to see eventually. Yep. So a really cool thing, I don't know if I can show you, but he basically just said, okay, in this whole area, just pick up the metal. Right now, this whole area here is worth 454 metal, which is, at this stage of the game, pretty significant. Going to be a little harassed here, but I have some defenses here. This will repel that attack. I'll be cleaning up these units, and I'll be expanding with my guy here. At home, see, I have these construction turrets, which have build power, so these things can spend my money for me. So I don't have to have my commander there or anything. I have an attack here, which is failing miserably. All this is really doing is just leaving wreckage for my opponent to claim to snowball his economy. So from my perspective, I know there's expansions here, and I ran through here, and there's lots of towers here. The red circles that determine the radius of guard towers. A good thing to note here, I'll stop pausing every 2 seconds, sorry. He has construction vehicles here which have access to more advanced buildings, but I'm only sending my commander here who only has access to very basic buildings. So eventually, he has more options here than I do in terms of what's being built here, so that he can build more advanced defensive buildings here. I have a pretty significant force here, 6 medium tanks, but he has his commander here and a bot lab. So there's bots, which are kind of like infantry, and then there's vehicles, which are, well, no vehicles. Bots are more cheap, they're more easier to mass, but individually not as strong as tanks. As you can see, so like, you know, there's shit going on in here, there's shit going on here. There's a lot of strategy in this game. Like, oh, I could have, you know, ran units down here, or, you know, like chose not to attack through here. Or maybe instead of just running my guys in through here, where I have no vision, perhaps I could have just really quickly made a couple of these really cheap scout bikes, sent them in just to see what was going on, instead of wherever the fuck this is. So yet again, I got nothing done there. You know, just for a laugh. As you can see, because he has, you'll see one moment. He has these 2 builders here. I just have my commander. His commander is here using his build power to train from this bot lab. So the bot lab is going to have way more build power, while my commander is just stuck here just making turrets. Strategically, you can decide whether this guy is getting more value than this guy. Oh, and the bottom right, well, and the top right too, you can see the income. So we both have very equal metal. He has slightly more energy than I do. So let's think, just strategically, because I know how this game goes, but it's just for fun. Because anyone who's watching this is likely has never played this game. So let's look at my player view. What do I know? I know that there's towers here, and it's kind of like just a standoff. I know his commander's here, and that he made a bot lab, so there's going to be units coming from this area eventually. I know that I don't have that much tanks here, and I don't really know where his main army is. Right now, his main army is in the middle. He's got pretty sizable force. He's got a couple units here. And, oh, he's got these reclaimer bots. So these can actually resurrect wreckages. So I'll show you an example here. So you see, they're actually resurrecting the wreckages that I left a very long time ago, and he's going to use my units against me. So it's also like another comeback feature. If your opponent runs into you, does damage, but leaves a lot of like corpses, he can just resurrect those corpses. So suiciding, you can decide if it's a good strategic decision or not. If you want to like leave those wreckages there for your opponent. I was saying, from my perspective, what do I know? I just saw his main army is middle. I don't have that much defense here. He can easily come and kill this. I am not spending my metal as well as I could. Look how much metal I'm floating. If you're floating this much resources, you need more build power to be able to build units, because I have a lot of income, but not enough build power to actually spend all of it. So one thing I could have done was send a construction vehicle here to build more advanced turrets, because right now he is going to be building this guy, which has a lot of range, and is just going to clean up all of my shitty little turrets. I kind of have just like a paper tiger here. Like, I don't really have much. He has not that much either, but he has his commander, which can do significant damage. He's running it down middle. I have like absolutely nothing to defend. I pull these units back. My commander is safe because he has a lot of defense, but that's all he's really doing. He's just making these shitty towers. So he's not really adding that much, like, strategically. Okay, he's running it down mid, basically. Like my Dota teammates, running it down mid. I pull these guys back. While I pull these guys back, he's sending units here, and he's going to clean up all of these metal extractors. These guys actually didn't need to leave. He could have sat there, but I did an overreaction, and I'm going to pay the price for it. Such is life. But the good news is he left 1.4k metal. The bad news is I'm at my max metal. Oh, and by the way, I can increase my capacity if I build storages. See, I can build a metal storage here to increase my metal storage by 3,000. So really, what's happening is I'm absorbing all of this metal, but it's not going anywhere because I can't spend it fast enough. So it's actually just disappearing into the ether, which is very funny. I haven't actually watched this replay before I started casting this, and I really wanted to watch this. He's sending these guys to take the metal before I can. He's amassing a force here from this bot lab. This tower here he didn't see, but he outranged all of this and just destroyed 5 of them. Really, the problem was that I just couldn't spend my metal because I didn't have enough build power. And really, it wasn't the build power, it was the fact that I didn't have enough energy. So there's that balance in that economy, just, you know, whatever you don't have that much of, you try to get it. So while I'm barely struggling to contain this fight, and like I'll never be able to reclaim this because there's just so much pressure here, because there's a training facility over here, he's amassing a force of tanks, which, spoiler alert, will eventually run it down mid again, and I have absolutely no real defense for it. And I'll have a defense for it, but I'll barely hold on, and because I lack map control to be able to secure just this tiny part of the map, I'll fall behind and it's fucking over. Actually, you know what? Everything I just said there was wrong. Because remember, the thing I said about comebacks? I could have reclaimed this wreckage, and then maybe fend this off, and then hopefully take this back. But I got so demoralized that I just quit. So yeah. That was this game. I wanted to show you guys a loss, because there's just something about this game where I don't get mad if I lose. In like Blizzard games, it feels just so just punishing and just so annoying to lose. I don't know, like in Warcraft 3, I don't know, it just felt so annoying to lose. But in this game, it just doesn't feel that annoying to lose, because it feels like I really I could have done something about it. And I think it's because it's a mostly symmetric game. Like, everyone has roughly... there are factions, but they're very... Like, they might as well not be factions. Because it's symmetric, it feels like there's always something you can do. You can't blame the map. You can't blame, like, some asymmetry. You just... All you can do is just blame yourself, just like in a fighting game. Well, no. In fighting games, there's actually asymmetry because of characters, so that's actually not a good analogy. Anyways, please try this game. Give it a shot. I think you'll like it if you play OTSs. And even if you don't, I think you'll like it because it's a very accessible game. There's not a lot of autism in this game. It's very simple. If you once you play, like it's not that complicated. Okay, thanks for watching. See ya.